Hey everyone, welcome to the guide. This is probably the fifth boss of the upcoming raid. I can see it going forth, but um, I think Styx is gonna be a little easier than this. There's a lot going on, but I want to show this first. This is the VOD, and I want to show this because the raid plan doesn't look like the room at all. So you can see this is the room. We have preset markers. I'll talk about that in a little, and we have a conveyor belt here, 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 and there's one here as well. And you can see here we're all starting around the skull marker. One thing to note is this strategy is for heroic. There's going to be no mythic things in the strategy. Um, so I can talk about the mythic mechanics briefly, but that's what it is. The idea here is that we need to do a dance around the room and blow up bombs. That's in short, the shortest version of how this phase works. So what you're going to see here is there's going to be these bombs that come out. And look at that. They're on the markers. Now, what you noticed here is that a tank instantly popped one and it gave you a debuff. Now, we look at this image now in the raid plan, we're going to see the raids like right here. And we had a tank assigned to stand in the first bomb the second it spawned. Just pre-stand in it. It is the easiest way to get out of the fight. These bombs, they're going to leave a debuff on you for I think a minute, so you can't get every set. But I mean it's 2 minutes, but you're going to need, I guess technically you're going to need 12 soakers total. So you're going to see here, tank gets the first one. And then we had a melee DPS run out and get the second one. And then another melee get the third one. And then the fourth one we're letting time out. In Mythic, I'll talk about it. I said I wasn't. In Mythic, you can't let them really time out. It's too quick. But we can let that one time out just to keep it easier. And that's it. So the reason we're using melee at the beginning um, is because it's easier for range to do the hard ones. Now, because we're in Lust here, you need to be careful which melee you're using. It's just a min-max thing. I think melee and healers are tanks and healers are probably the best three targets because they're not getting a lot of DPS value through Lust and the healing is very low. So it's probably worthwhile to go tank, melee healer, range healer, depending on what comp you're using. Now there's gonna be a bunch of things or machines that are going off during this. Instead of just like going through a list and reading it, I'm just going to point them out. So you see these beam turrets? They're coming down this conveyor belt. They're going to stop so you can see where they're going to go and you can pre-stand. You also have electricity, or you have these traps here. Oh, yeah, it's the conveyor belt just started. This trap, it's going off the conveyor belt now. It's at the edge there. That will knock you in the air. It won't kill you, it will knock you in the air. If you fall in these holes, you'll get knocked out. I don't think you died. And now you can see that there's a lightning denial field. And you can see that we have preset markers here as well. So what do I mean by lightning denial? Well, that's what this is. So the whole fight is scripted. We know from raid testing that this is the first bomb set and this is not accessible. We come in here. Here's the fire lines. We just saw that. Ideally, we cross over. And now we know that this is not accessible. And these are what we're playing around. So knowing that, we're pre-positioning every single time. And you can see here, we have 4 markers, green, orange, skull, and this one will time out. You'll also have screw ups, which we'll talk about, which were kind of bugged in testing, and will be a lot easier with a weak aura, and then you just have a dodge mechanic. So you can see the lightning covering the room there, that last bomb timed out. And now we have this screw up mechanic. So you can see here, these players get targeted with an arrow, and then they'll immediately drop a screw up, which is really, really, really annoying. Because it was bugged in testing, but if you run through it, I think it stuns you and does a ton of damage. So, ideally, in a perfect situation, you put the screw ups on the side for the first two sets, and then in the middle of the last set. And I'll talk about that why. When I mean middle, I mean like in here. I'll talk about that why. But you can see here that we're trying to get them the sides, but the melee here just like said, screw it, and then just put, it here, which is mostly okay. Another strat you can do, if you look at our mythic testing, which I don't have open right now, you can actually stand on these conveyor belts when screw up comes out. Screw up comes out, and you just let the conveyor belt carry you, um, and you don't get a hit at all, which might be the way you actually have to handle the mechanic. So again, you just kind of stand here, drop your screw up, the conveyor belt carries you, you just AFK. Either or probably works, but this is the footage I have now. So the screw ups are out, and the bombs I think were happening there. Just trying to get, okay, that's a tank mechanic. See, the tank runs out. I didn't talk about that. Very classic tank run out mechanic. It does damage. These bombs, they'll do like a AoE clap on the raid. Sorry, I'm trying to, it's been a while since I looked at this boss. I'm just clicking around a little. Okay, here are the bombs. So the bombs are going to come down. I think this is the third set, so I didn't get a catch of the second set, but that's okay. So this is the bomb set 2. Again, you have to assign people to each set. And again, here is the screw-ups. Ideally, they're on the sides, and then you're going to get magnets that are going to pull you in. And then you're going to bomb set 4, which is what you're seeing this guy do with the magnets. So the magnets are going to come in, and this bomb set looks like this. So again, we had probably range players assigned to each of these, or maybe one melee, one range, and one range. He's getting the third one. The debuff's going to go off. He's running over quickly because these magnets are going to do a grip. And then they're going to pull you in. And then he's going to do wire transfer again. You have to run over. And then you're going to get another screw up if I remember correctly. There's a screw up. Ideally, these go in the middle of the room. Like, when I mean middle, yeah, this is perfect. So see how this is like this? It's because what's going to happen here is you want to drop screw up, and then you want to run to the middle of the room. So drop here, the raid should go here, they're going to get pulled here. Because it was bugged in testing, but getting pulled through the screw ups is really, really bad. So the raid should have shifted here. Grip, intermission. So the way intermission's handled, let's see how we did it in testing. See how the screw up just stunned them? So those were bad plays. That's why they need to be like in the middle area. But there's two ways to handle this. Option 1, run down the mid. You can run on these edges. You don't have to fight the conveyor belts. You can run on these edges as well. Or you can run this way and this way, or you can gate like those people did. The boss is going to be in between two of them. I think they're going to change this because this is unbelievably toxic for Mythic. But we all just went to the side for this testing because we didn't develop a strategy yet. Now, what I think you should do. That's funny. He's falling on the conveyor belt. You can stand on the edges like this. What I think you can do, or what I think you should do, is have your range players run down the center. your melee players and your immobile, extremely immobile range, like that you literally just need to stand and cast, and your ranged healers, at least two of them, need to take this gate and run the side. So the melee will all stack. They'll all try to dodge the best they can here so they can hit the boss. And then your ranged players, they're going to line up on these edges and just sidestep whenever they need to. Most of your ranged players and your more mobile healers, they'll run here and they'll dance in a bigger group here. So let me make a copy and kind of draw it out real quick what I mean. So ideally here, your tanks, you get your melee, and you have some of your immobile healers in range, free casting here. Then you have the rest of your range linked here, kind of fighting for themselves a little. But because you can't have too many people together, if not it just becomes, you cannot dodge anything. And then that's how you hit the boss. Now, right now I'm testing the boss is like this. The reason it's toxic in mythic is because there's a positive and negative charge, just like Silken Court, but not as terrible. And if the boss stays like this, then you're gonna have one charge go first, and then those melee charges stand like this, and then the other melee charges stand here. And then like some range, so one charge range goes up, one down. It's just really toxic. So I think they're gonna keep it more in the middle, maybe increase this hitbox a little. Is what I think they're gonna do, and you have one charge go one way, one the other. That's for mythic, but that's the general gist. So we're gonna come out of here, come out of intermission. Oh, you're running through the. It's okay. It doesn't do much damage. And he's gonna repeat the mechanics. So you can see you have the bombs. Again, the assignments are coming out. He's got these void lasers. We're watching, we're watching, we're watching. It's funny because he keeps panning left and right to see if someone gets the bomb. And these are going to stop. This is not safe. You got to move. Visual's not very good, but it was beta, so it's okay. There's a wire transfer. He's going to swap the lightning. We know where the lightning is going to be safe. Bombs are going to come out with screw up here. Bombs are coming out after the tank thing. Ooh. Dodge the void. Maybe there's only 3 bombs in heroic actually. I might have scuffed that. But you move the boss over here. Here are the bombs. 1, 2, waiting. Whoever's assigned. 3. That one times out. The last one. And then again, you have your screw ups, your void, and you just kind of have to dodge. So this one's really annoying because you can see here that they're in the wire transfer. So they didn't make it over to the other side in time. But they end up killing the boss. The last bombs come out. I guess there's only 3 in heroic. But that's it. They do the bombs. They get pushed. Remember, those last screw ups need to be in the center here, so that the outside and the inside group don't get affected. And you can see here what I'm saying. He's all the way on the other side, and these range are just chilling. Like they don't have to do anything. But yeah, that is the encounter. So note that it looked like there's only 3 heroic bombs, or 3 bombs in heroic, and it skipped this number 2 one. And that's it. You just repeat it 3 times, and then the boss enrages. So hopefully this was helpful. I do recommend doing like a detailed read through of all these types of rockets and stuff. But at the end of the day, you just dodge stuff and don't be in line with rockets. They all kind of work pretty similar. They just look different. Magnets obviously will pull you in. Other than that, good luck in your progression, and see you in the next video.